A new poll came out, and this is from Harris. I don't know who they teamed up with, but it's a Harris poll. Let me show you the new situation for Israel. It's not looking good for them. Quote, who is more responsible for the violence in the Mideast, Israel or Hamas? Now, by the way, the framing of that I think is biased. It should have been Israel or Palestinians, but they didn't. They put Israel or Hamas, which up front sort of biases it against the Palestinians because they're just all being viewed as like Hamas. So look at this. Among everybody, 60% blames Hamas, 40% blames Israel. Now, my guess is if you change Hamas to just Palestinians, maybe that becomes like 50-50. Which, again, would be a big blow against Israel because of all the propaganda, pro-Israel propaganda here. And even with that propaganda, it's not landing anymore. But look at this. Ages 18 to 34, 60% blame Israel, 40% blame Hamas. Even with the biased framing, Israel is blamed more than Hamas. 35 to 49, 51% blame Israel, 49% blame Hamas. So 49 and under, people are blaming Israel over Hamas. The propaganda is not working anymore. The only group where the propaganda is still landing is the older folks. You don't see this on the screen there, but 50 to 64-year-olds, 72% blame Hamas, 28% blame Israel, and 65 and older, 76% blame Hamas and 24% blame Israel. In other words, the generations that were, more doctrinaire, more authoritarian, more followers of doing what they told they were supposed to do, they're like, oh yeah, no, totally Hamas, because I see that the news always says that 24/7, so I'm on their side. So they fall for the propaganda more. But anyway, this is incredible. So this poll was done May 20th, and it says a lot. This says a lot. I think that when your grip on the narrative is slipping this much, even with endless propaganda on your side, it's not going to be much longer until this really is like 60% pro-Palestinian, 40% pro-Israel. And, it's weird because you look at the numbers internationally and you see that basically everybody else has gotten past the bogus narratives. Like international law is crystal clear. Israel is violating international law, doing illegal occupation and illegal settlements, and they're expanding them. And people are seeing what's happening. They see who the occupying power is. They see that they're really not interested in peace. Israel's not interested in peace. They're not interested in a two-state solution. They're not interested in a democratic one-state solution. They're not interested in any of that. And so the rest of the world sees through it, and the younger people in America see through it. The only people who don't see through it are the entire U.S. establishment and the older folks in America. But, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take away from this. Again, even the fact that they frame this as Hamas or Israel, who's to blame, if they put Palestinians or Israel, we might already be at 50-50 for the entire country. So keep telling the truth, keep spreading the reality of what's happening, and eventually I think the truth will win out.